Welcome to the 6th or 7th annual Free Agency Fuckfest 2022 edition. I'm Brandon. The only thing I have legally tampered with is public urination, Perna. Free agency does not open or begin until Wednesday, but the legal tampering period started today, which means teams can negotiate deals with players prior to free agency beginning. It's a weird, dumb thing the NFL adjusted to ensure free agency news drags out as long as humanly possible. Today, I wanted to discuss the biggest signings that happened during the tampering period and evaluate which teams already got quite a bit better. So, if you're a Cowboys fan, you might want to look away. That's good sports. Hey, if you would like to be kept abreast of NFL news in a dumb way, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. You already know I consume bowls of Magic Spoon cereal like I do football news. A bowl of peanut butter cereal with a scoop of chocolate protein for the ultimate gains is something I digest almost every single day. And now Magic Spoon offers limited edition cereal bars, meaning you can finally spend more time at the bar and stay healthy. And just like the cereal, these are bars packed with protein. 10 grams in each bar, 4 grams of net carbs, and just 1 gram of sugar. And guess what? They offer it in my goat flavor peanut butter, as well as cookies and cream, which is really pushing for my favorite, and cocoa. If you've had protein bars in the past, you know they may taste like clay. These are actually delicious and are perfect on-the-go snacks, which, as a busy dad, is key to making sure I never get too hangry. So, click the link below, get Magic Spoon cereal, or the cereal bars, or both today, and use my code THATSGOOD for $5 off your order. Don't forget, Magic Spoon will refund your money with the 100% happiness guarantee if you don't love their product for any reason. Okay, keep in mind, free agency moves fast, and by the time I get this video uploaded, I will have missed something important. Now, I think savvy football fans know free agency isn't won on day one. In fact, nobody can win free agency because there's no scorecard, no judges, or an overtime rule to keep Josh Allen from getting the ball. Many impactful and valuable signings tend to happen after the frenzy. Day one is great for the big name, big money signings though, and in an effort to totally contradict myself, I will determine a day one winner. Why? Well, because we love that shit, don't we? Let's start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, they didn't win day one, but damn it, they're trying. And that's a huge upgrade over grinding. The Jaguars are set to sign Pro Bowl guard Brandon Scherff. Scherff left Washington for the Jags. That's sort of like leaving the homeless shelter to live in an RV, but an improvement nonetheless. Unless, of course, you don't have a generator for your RV and it loses power. Now, if Scherff can stay healthy, he will provide a sizable upgrade on the Jags interior, but that's a bit of a question. The Jags also picked up former Cardinal Christian Kirk at wide receiver. Say what you want about Trent Baalke, but he's actively trying to make Trevor Lawrence not suck. And they also gave Zay Jones a $30 million deal, giving the Jags an additional award. The only team to spend over $100 million on exclusive number 2 wide receivers. Not a single number 1 receiver here, but a lot of great 2s. If your name is Kirk, by the way, you'll be filthy rich one day. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, and now Christian Kirk, who grabbed an $84 million payday from the Jaguars. Receivers who sign massive deals in free agency are one of the more risky position groups to pay, at least in recent history, mainly because their success is so dependent on their quarterback. But the Jags have the money. So if you're a Jags fan, quit bitching and be happy your team landed one of the best available receivers. But the Jags weren't done yet. No. They also handed out a 1-year, $10 million deal to Evan Engram, tight end, coming out of New York. Another pass catcher for Trevor Lawrence. Well, catcher might not be an accurate way to describe Evan Engram, but he's certainly a passing target. Then we've got Mike McDaniel's Dolphins. who will sign Cardinals running back Chase Edmonds and former Cowboys receiver Cedric Wilson. They extended edge defender Emmanuel Ogbah, and their new backup quarterback is Teddy Bridgewater, who joined Miami on a one-year deal. Combined with Tua Tagovailoa, they do have the combined arm strength of one average quarterback. Now, if Tua gets hurt, Teddy can come in and play the exact same style of football, which honestly is nice for your backup quarterback. I also know Mike McDaniel will actually utilize the Dolphins running backs, so that'll be a nice change, Miami. And you could see Edmonds, who is great in the passing game, have a very, very big fantasy year. I do think this makes Miami a little bit better, so I give them a grade of Mike McDaniel. Still pretty fucking cool. Now, with Chase Edmonds gone, the Arizona Cardinals gave running back James Conner a 3-year, $21 million deal. A lot of people think this is too much money, but let's keep in mind, this is a guy who scored 18 touchdowns last year. Compare that to Dallas, who is paying Zeke Elliott $18 million this year alone. So credit AZ for spreading Zeke money across 3 years. Arizona also signed Zach Ertz, who had his best game in Arizona with Colt McCoy at quarterback, also coming back for the Cardinals. So Colt McCoy or bust in Arizona. That's their grade. And the award for the single signing that scares me the most is Jesus Christ Jackson, which is exactly what Pat Mahomes says every time his brother uploads a new TikTok. The Chargers signed former Patriots corner J.C. Jackson, which just goes to show that the AFC West is a full-on arms race. Now, will Jackson still be as productive outside of the Bill Belichick defensive system? Well, he had 8 interceptions last season, so probably not. But he will be just as good at covering guys, so yes. It just depends on how you evaluate corner production. He allowed the 3rd lowest passer rating when targeted last year, trailing only, surprisingly, Rasul Douglas and A.J. Terrell. Rasul Douglas, another reason the Packers don't need a lot of money. Now, it will be very funny when the Chargers rout the Patriots in the first round of the playoffs, just like the Bills did last year. Speaking of the Bills, they made one of the best under-the-radar signings, picking up Washington defensive tackle Tim Settle on a 2-year deal. Settle has been obscured by a deep defensive line in DC and will get a chance to shine in Buffalo. The Eagles get the best young pass rusher available in Hassan Reddick. 3 years, $45 million with 30 fully guaranteed. This was less money, honestly, than I thought he'd get after seeing Emmanuel Ogbah drawing $65 million in his deal. But Philly needed help on the edge, and they got it. Reddick has had back-to-back seasons with double-digit sacks, including 11 last year, which was 3.5 more than anyone on the Eagles. The Jets signed former 49ers guard Laken Tomlinson to a 3-year, $40 million deal for the former first-round pick by the Detroit Lions. They also win the whitest signing by bringing back receiver and returner Braxton Berrios, who is not allowed to walk the streets of New York City whilst showing skin out of fear he may blind pilots. Now, Berrios gets a 2-year, $12 million deal and came on strong at the end of last season, netting a kick return for a touchdown, an average of 30.4 yards per kick return, plus 2 rushing tugs and a receiving TD in the final month of football. And in a signing as sneaky as Braxton Berrios' speed, the Jets land former Bengals tight end CJ UZomah. This really a big blow for the Bengals, but a great addition to the Jets roster to help young Zach Wilson in the passing game. The Jets can't win or lose free agency, though, until we see quarterback Zach Wilson do something. The Seahawks extended safety Quandre Diggs to a 3-year deal worth up to $40 million. And this Seattle team really isn't sure if it's rebuilding or not, but Diggs is deserving of the payday, even if he is the 3rd best Diggs in the NFL. Now, part of me feels like instinctually, Seattle tried to give away one of their first-round draft picks while signing him. We want a safety, so we got to give away a first-rounder, right? No, Pete, no. Good signing, but I don't think it makes Seattle better. They're the same. The Cleveland Browns. They released receiver Jarvis Landry, who is expected to join one of the AFC's top contenders, either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. Please let it be the Bills. Landry would be an upgrade over Cole Beasley, who appears to be on his way out of Buffalo. Now, we've got the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were both bounced early in the playoffs and decided the best way to get to the next level is to stay exactly the same. These two teams were incredibly incestuous in free agency fuckfest, which is kind of gross. Now, the Packers re-signed Devondre Campbell, linebacker, to a 5-year, $50 million deal. Campbell was an excellent bargain find for the Packers last year, and he ended up being one of their best defenders, so it's a nice move to get him back. I have no clue how he fits into their cap situation, but that's the magic of the Green Bay Packers. The 28-year-old linebacker has played in 80 of his last 81 games in the NFL. Good job for the Pack, per my source, which is Tom Grossi. They did release edge rusher Zadarius Smith, but extended Preston Smith for 4 years at $52.5 million in new money. Devontae Adams is franchise tagged, and Aaron Rodgers said he will be back, but has yet to sign his contract. Green Bay is still $17 million over the cap, so again, I have no fucking clue how any of this makes sense for the Packers. But I'm guessing every Packers fan who bought stock is about to see another charge to their account. The Buccaneers have lost both of their starting guards in Alex Kappa to free agency and Ali Marpet to retirement. The real kind of retirement, not the one that handsome senior citizen swindler Tom Brady partakes in. But they are bringing back my favorite center, Ryan Jensen, one of my favorite free agent cornerbacks, Carlton Davis. Those are two big gets for the Bucs. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that this was influenced by the Tom Brady unretirement, which makes me hate this even more, and playoff Lenny Fournette's return is just a matter of time. But here we are, the final two winners in my eyes in free agency. The Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals were a team that had a very clear plan heading into free agency and addressed their biggest needs immediately. So fast so that they most certainly tampered before tampering was okay. They are the day one winner in my eyes, and that's because they have their QB, an offense stacked with talent, and in about 2 hours plugged the two biggest holes in their team, guard and guard. In fact, I'll be so bold and say the Bengals have the best chance ever to be the first team to turn a Super Bowl hangover into a Super Bowl win. Cincinnati signed guard Alex Kappa to a 4-year, $40 million deal. $40 million to not help Tom Brady is about half of what I'd pay. Kappa played in 1,327 snaps last year and allowed 5 sacks. Joe Burrow was like, he only gives up 5 sacks per game? Just 5 per game? Damn, I'm gonna win MVP! And I personally cannot wait to see Joe Burrow's face when he learns that that was for the entire season. The Bengals also signed Patriots guard Ted Karras, who gave up just 3 sacks in 2021. So if you combine the amount of sacks allowed by Kappa and Karras, it's 8. Or 1 less than Burrow was sacked in the Titans playoff game. Now, defensive tackle BJ Hill, who had 5.5 sacks last year, is also returning. Since he did lose Larry Ogunjobi, that stings a bit, so it's important that they kept some depth on the line. BJ Hill also doubles as a corner whenever he faces Patrick Mahomes. Now, this other team, I will put him at a tie with the Bengals, and this might ruffle some feathers. Kiss some titties, swish some titties, wish upon them titties. In my humble opinion, the biggest signing of the day was the tittiest signing of the day when the Steelers inked Mitchell Trubisky to a 2-year deal to replace broken Ben Roethlisberger in the Steel City of Sins. Mitch Trubisky wanted to be a starter, which is why he essentially chose the Steelers over the Giants, indeed in play for the quarterback. Brian Dable is obviously familiar with Mitch, but since Dan Fumble Jones is still on the roster, there would have been a quarterback competition in New York City. Now, Mike Tomlin got the mobile quarterback he desired, and the city of Pittsburgh basically told Chicago, "You're dumb. Watch what we do with Mitch." And I like that. I think I tend to agree with Tomlin here too. I did a video about 2 weeks ago about Mitch being the Bella de Ball, the best quarterback in free agency. That would be a free agent. At the very least, this buys Pittsburgh time to figure out their quarterback game plan. If Mitch Trubisky doesn't work out, they lose nothing except games. And if you lose enough games, you can draft your next quarterback. The ceiling here, though, is Mitch Trubisky. Looks great for the next 2 seasons. They get him on a great deal, and then they extend him for the long haul. It's like an extended tryout, and they didn't have to give up any draft capital, which they would have had to do if they pursued a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. And the worst case scenario is if Mitch Trubisky is very average to below average. If that happens, Pittsburgh, well, then you're just the Denver Broncos of the past. I am high on Trubisky, but he does have a lot to prove. What I do believe is that Mitch is better than Ben Roethlisberger in his final 2 seasons with the Steelers. Pittsburgh upgraded the most important position on day 1 of tampering. Their offensive line, still an issue, but some of that will be aided by Trubisky's mobility. This also probably means Dwayne Haskins' chances of ever starting in the NFL are over, and that Mason Rudolph can finally take the time off he needs to fix that fucking dent in his head. The Steelers were in the playoffs last year, but if they get in at the end of this season with Trubisky, it will actually feel like they deserve to be there. The AFC North will be tough, but damn it, Trubisky, prove the haters wrong. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Instagram at Brandon Perna if you care to follow me in those dumb social media spots. If not, just click on the video on the screen and watch more crap. Did you watch my Deshaun Watson video? I talked about Deshaun Watson.